Hey there. Well, here we go. Dan's Video Adventures with Death, episode 46. Today is July the 13th, which is the 39th anniversary of my biological mother's murder. July 13th, 1981, her ex-boyfriend had broken into her house and laid there for 3 days. Lay in wait for her for 3 days to come home. And when she came home and walked through the door, he brutally stabbed her here and pulled the knife all the way down. Mom lived to August 1st, but it wasn't pretty. She was very lucid for a while, for most of the period we could talk to her. I had just gotten out of prison myself. I had to promise her on her deathbed that I would not go after Robert George Stephenson, the man that killed her. I had full plans of going and killing him. I would gladly have done the rest of my life in prison for it. In a lot of ways, I regret that I made her that promise because it's bothered me every day since. And just because of who I used to be, like back in my day, I wouldn't even have asked her. I would have just went and done it. But I was trying to change my ways, and I've stayed out of prison ever since then. And that was one of the only things Mom ever asked of me because my life was so. We didn't know each other. The first 22 of I met her when I was 12. I must have met her a lot of times when I was a baby. I don't remember. I met her when I was 12 years old when I ran away from the foster home and hitchhiked from St. John to Toronto and found her. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. But I only got to see her for like a half an hour before the police and children's aid put me back on a plane and took me back to St. John, New Brunswick. And then when I got out of prison, I got to know her, but I only got to know her for just over a year until the son of a bitch killed her. He stabbed her July the 13th. She died August the 1st. And that's been the story of my life. Every time I get something nice, it disappears. Had a nice job, disappeared. Had nice bikes, something happens. They go. Married my first wife, which getting to that, okay, the last thing my first wife Michelle said to me, she's the one that I bought off her mother for $50. You'd have to read my autobiography about that, but I did. I bought her for $50 and married her 6 weeks later. Mom loved her. Mom thought she was hilarious. She came to me after about 2 weeks after Mom died with her hand on her hip and a finger sticking out in a Scottish fucking brogue of hers and says, ever since your mother got murdered, you've been acting strange and I can't take it no more. I'm leaving. That's what she said to me. I wanted my $50 back. So I stood up and I took 2 bus tokens out of my pocket and I said, here's one to fuck off and here's one to fuck off further. And I am swearing in this one because I'm real. And she left. When I met her, I'd already furnished the apartment. I had beautiful king-size water beds, and my buddy and I owned a store. I'd get top-of-the-line stuff for very cheap. I had a real nice apartment, but when she left, I let her take everything. She took everything. She even and bank cards had just come out. She even went across the street and took my money. I didn't offer her that, but what could I do? She said to me, ever since your mom got murdered, you've been acting strange, and I can't handle it. Well, I don't know. Let me kill your mother and see how you behave. But I looking back at it, I laugh because I bought her for $50. Her mother was my boss at work, and I just getting out of prison and didn't want a $20 hooker. You know what I mean? So I jokingly said that, geez, I'd pay $50 to date a girl, and her mother Faye said, I got a daughter, so I took $50 out of my pocket and passed it to her. But she never gave. I figured she'd give me the money back later in the night. She never gave me the money back. That was Friday night. The next day, Saturday, I'm sitting there about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, sitting there watching TV with my buddy Mike Duffy. There's a knock on the door. I open it up. There's this real pretty girl, and she looks at me. She goes, "My name's Michelle. I'm Faye's daughter. Apparently, you bought a date with me last night." And then I ended up marrying her 6 weeks later. Lost everything I owned. Ended up becoming a drunk for 2 years. Drunk and an idiot. Went on a tear. And then I met Jennifer. And I've been, 40 years later with Jenny. But I didn't. Jenny and I, it was love. So that's what cheers me up a little bit there. Now it takes my mind off of what I was originally going to talk about. I had a very emotional evening. If you go to my lighthousedanverner.wordpress.com page. I just wrote a blog, Demons of Guilt, which is about me writing Jordan's biography and how what I'm going through doing it. I am trying to finish it, but you can only imagine how much I must cry. I cry every single keystroke. Like I say in the blog, if it wasn't for spell correct, it would look like it was written in code, because I just keep crying and I can't see the text, you know. But I'm getting through it. I'm getting there. I'm taking my time. I get it's my son, and it's not a fictional tale. It's true, you know. And I gotta be accurate, and I gotta try to do it without too much father-son emotion there, so that people get the point of what I'm trying to make. You know, it's tragic. Like you can only, I can actually feel a part of me inside is gone, and I had that with my other sons that died back in the '70s. It's like part of your spark dies too, because your genetics knows, your genes know that you've had a son or a daughter, you know, that you've had offspring, and when that offspring's heart stops, something clicks in your genetics. That's how many times have you heard through people they're saying, "Oh, I knew he was dead before the police came," or I woke up and I knew it was Dad, I knew it was Danny Delaney, I knew it was Steve Delaney, I knew it was Dave, I knew it all of them. I felt the spark. If you have a very close, strong bond with somebody, they become part of your genetics. Our genetics are what make us, you know. And I like the light, you know. Everybody calls me Lighthouse, but I'll explain all that someday too. But part of your light go gyms. Like I'm gonna be 63 in October, and me and my good buddy John Robert Bashir down home. We're talking the other day. There's only like 3 or 4 of us left, and the ones that are left were the craziest. Like me and him, we were the ones that are left alive are the nuttiest ones. We're the ones that everybody thought was, you know, you're going to get murdered or do life in prison. Well, some of us did. A lot of time in prison, or you know, we weren't going to make it. We weren't supposed, like I was supposed to see 18, then it was 19, 20, and then it was 30, 20, you know, 25, 30, 35, 40. It's like they're bidding on how long I'm going to live. Well, we've outlived all them guys, all our schoolmates, all the kids that we grew up with, you know, and it's not a good thing, because when you outlive all your family, you know, like now I'm outliving, you know, I've outlived, out of the 9 kids, I've outlived 4 of them now. And that's a heavy, you know, you gotta, it's not a good thing. You get up every morning and you got a list of 150 people that you're missing, and you are missing them. They were your life. They were part of your life for 60 years. It's not a, it's part of my, I believe it's part of my penance for all the things I did when I was wrong. All the wrong things I did when I was young. I think this is part of my penance, my yoga penance, that the Lord, your creator, my creator, whatever you perceive him to be, whoever the, you know, you'd have to read some of my other stuff to see where I go in that street. Uh, but I'm paying my penance. I'm doing, you know, you got to pay your karma. You got to pay your price. And I'm going to live to be very old, but I'm going to live to be uh, very alone too, and missing a lot of parts. Look how many parts I'm missing already. I'm missing half my insides now, and judging by the way my ankles and them are starting to look, I wouldn't be surprised they're taking a foot or something soon too from the bloating shit if they don't get on it. I'm keeping the beard, keeping the beard. I'm glad I can do this thing. I don't care if anybody watches them or not, because right now, I cried all night. I cried since like 6 o'clock at night till like 1 in the morning, just writing that little blog. And and now I got to tackle the rest of the book, his story, you know. And I was messed up. I was really crying and having a real hard time. That's why I stopped to write the blog. I was writing in the book, and I had to stop to write the blog. And how my blogs usually get started is somebody will say something on Facebook, which one of my cousins did, and I responded to it. But my response triggers in me, wait a second, I can turn this whole answer into a good blog that people see. Like, you know, it's like you people are seeing what my emotions, how up and down I am, wishy washy. One day I'm this, one day I'm that, one day I'm this, one day I'm that, then I'm that again, then this again. You guys see all that. Well, that's part of the cancer, you know. Like I get tumors in my head, and they play little games with you. And I'm not making excuses, but you know, I went deaf. I'm going blind, And they're thinking if they go back in the hyperbaric chamber, I may, and the blindness they can't cure, the deafness they can just adjust my hearing aids because I got, my hearing aids cost $14,000, $7,000 a piece. That's, yeah. Can you hear me now? And I can't wear them because my heart's falling off. My ear canals are too swollen and I can't get them in. I gotta go get an appointment to get smaller ends put on. But I've always said since I was 14 that I'm going, because I've had the same dream at least 5,000 times in my life, where I'm 112 years old and I'm walking down the street and it's just like out of a cartoon. I get a piano drops on me. So that doesn't necessarily mean how I'm going to die, but it's going to be something comical, something that you expect out of a Bugs Bunny cartoon or something. And I've always known that. I've said it from day one. I've dreamed the exact same dream at least 5,000 times in my lifetime. And I'm missing one of everything: one arm, one leg, one eye. I'm missing. I only got one nostril. This is my good eye, Jimmy. Right. This is my bad ear. They fixed that with the skin graft and the hearing aid. This is the bad side of my neck. You can see, like, this is where your Adam's apple is. See all that wrinkly you see on me at that time? That's your hyoid bone. That's what makes. It's not a bone. It's actually a cartridge, but they call it a bone. The hyoid, Hyoid bone. And on a man, it has a V here, so we have an Adam's apple. And on a woman, it just goes straight across. They don't have an Adam's apple to push the Adam's apple in behind it. And that being so that their voices are high-pitched and our voices are low-pitched. There you go, a little poil of wisdom from Guy and Dan Verner. Learned it in the cancer hospital. So now, my hyoid bone, they go from behind your ears, where your TMJ is. Well, it's been ate away from there all the way across now. It's no longer attached. And now it's eating it here. So I don't know. That's when my tongue will let go. Is when it eats through here, my tongue will your tongue's like a giant elastic. It's going to snap down my throat and choke me to death. That's going to be a bad, bad day. Everybody was laughing because I always say, "Oh, fuck it. You weren't lying. You're telling me the truth. I am choking." What can you do? When it's time to go, it's time to go. Many say how strong and that I am. I'm not strong. I'm reserved. Like, what choice I got? We all say, everybody says it. The second you're born, you start dying. So you're already on your way to your deathbed the day you were born. The second you were born, you're already starting to die. So what can you do? You know you're going. But I'm going to live to be 112 because I'm still not paying Rogers Cable. I don't give a shit how many times they take me to court. I'm not giving them pricks a penny. Not one penny, Rogers. Not one penny. Okay, let's not get me mad at Rogers Cable again. That's why I'm with CIK. Customer is king. CIK Telecom, man. Best cable company out there for Ontario. Check them out. I'm paying $100 for a Rogers package that Rogers wants $300 for. And it's a Rogers package. Hooked up to Rogers through CIK Telecom. Check them out. CIK stands for Customer is King, and they are excellent company. You just got, as long as you get a lot of patience, because you got to repeat everything 10 times, because most of them are calling from a call center in India. But I've been with them like 8 years now. I love them. $99 a month. I get 40-some TV channels. Home phone's free. They just throw that in there with all the long distance and that. They don't even want that damn thing. And they throw in home phone's $5 a month. They throw in the TV box, the Android box, but I ordered extra stations and then unlimited internet and high speed, good internet too. It's Rogers. Yeah, so there you go. CIK, if you're listening, you owe me $2 for royalty. Okay. Yeah, so thank you for making me feel better, people. And you know what? I'm gonna finish. I'll do a part 2 of this later in the day. I'm gonna go say a prayer for Amy and Hazel and all the people on my list, and maybe try to talk to Mom up in heaven or wherever she is. Anyways, pray forward. Made myself cry. God bless you.